Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention please? Thank you for joining us and welcome to Swiss-Belinn, Surabaya, Jawa Timur, Indonesia. For those of you who are attending this event virtually, I recommend that you use your headphone for a better sound quality. And for those of you who are arrived in this ballroom, please take your seat as seating arrangement has been made. And also, we kindly request you to turn off or switch your mobile phone to silent mode along the agenda. Once again, thank you for your cooperation. Ladies and gentlemen, the conference will begin in short time. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Honorable Director General of Information and Public Communication, Bapak Usman Kansong, which is present here on behalf of Excellency Minister of Communication and Informatics of Republik Indonesia. Honorable members of Dewan Pakar ISKI, Honorable ISKI Organization Committee, ISKI Pusat dan Daerah, Honorable Chairman of ISKI, Dr. Dadang Rahmat Hidayat SOS SHMSI, Honorable Chairman of ISKI Jatim, Professor Rahmahida MComs PhD, Honorable prominent speakers, and all the participants. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Om Swastiastu, Salam, Namo Buddhaya, may peace be upon us, greetings of virtue and good morning. It is such a great honor to welcome you to Surabaya, East Java, Indonesia, on the occasion of Communication International Conference, Indonesia Communication Scholars Association, Beyond Digital Communication, Opportunities and Challenge for Humanities, Surabaya, 7th and 8th of October 2022. This event, Surabaya, 7th and 8th of November 2022. This event is providing opportunities for the scholars, academicians, and communication practitioners to discuss and delivering their thought, idea, and academic review through the conference. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, as a warm welcome, we will commence our programs by a dance performance, Tari Remo. This dance is one of our performance from East Java, which has the philosophy as a welcome greetings, and the choreography symbolize the dynamic characteristic of the local community. Ladies and gentlemen, we are proudly present Tari Remo. gentlemen, once again, please give a big round of applause for UKM Tari UPN Veteran Jawa Timur for their performance. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, now we proceed to the next agenda, singing Indonesian National Anthem, Indonesia Raya, followed by ISKI March. Ladies and gentlemen, please kindly rise.
perizinan perizinan dua Pak. Nah itu perizinan dua pegang.
Ladies and gentlemen, you may sit now. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, now we would like to invite Bapak Anang Sujoko, MSI DCOM, to lead the prayer.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Peace, God's mercy and blessing be upon you. And honor, ladies and gentlemen, let us blow our heads for the moment and pray to Allah so that our international conference can be precious to all of us. And please allow me to lead this prayer in Islam. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Allahumma salli wa barik ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Oh Allah, today, Monday, November 7, 2022, we gather here to bring about a communication international conference of Indonesian Communication Scholar Association, whether them beyond digital communication, opportunities and challenges for humanities. Oh Allah, make this conference as useful science assembly as a forum of sharing ideas, knowledge, experiences of scholars, researchers, and students of communication studies. May the conference we organize today and tomorrow give benefit to all our life, broaden knowledge, sign our ideas, and let us to be successful, productive person, which in turn will boost dignity of our nation. Oh Allah, guide and bless our heart and minds with the light of your guidance, impart of your supreme wisdom upon our activities. Help us to speak our minds clearly, sharply. Help us to be good listener, respect each other, love each other, so that we are included the blessed person. Oh Allah, protect us from unintended temptation, show us the right path, and give us knowledge and strength to perform good things. Equally, show us and make it clear the bad thing and give us knowledge and strength us to avoid them. Oh Allah, you are the one who can fulfill our prayer. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina adzabannar. Subhanaka rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun alal mursalin walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, now we are kindly invite Chairman of the conference, Professor Dr. Atwar Bajari, Dr. Andes MSI, to deliver the report. The stage is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Allow me to speak in Bahasa Indonesia, I think because I didn't prepare my speech in English, so sorry. Too many barrier, I think. Terlalu banyak jalan-jalan Bapak Ibu sekalian. Bapak Ibu sekalian yang saya hormati, yang terhormat Kementerian Kominfo atau yang mewakili Gubernur Jawa Timur, atau yang mewakili Ketua Umum ISKI Pusat Bapak Dr. Dadang Rahmati Hidayat dan Ketua ISKI Jawa Timur Ibu Rahmaida, terima kasih Prof. Bapak Wali Kota Surabaya atau yang mewakili beberapa ketua asosiasi mungkin yang diundang oleh ISKI, mulai dari Perhumas, PWI Jawa Timur, Aspikom Jawa Timur, Ketua dan anggota Dewan Pakar Ada Pak Roni di sini, terima kasih Pak Roni sudah memberikan pencerahan tadi pagi. Kemudian beberapa universitas kolaborator dan sponsor seperti PT Telkomsel dan Ketua Pelaksana dan ISKI Jawa Timur yang sudah memprepare acara ini. Bapak Ibu yang saya hormati, puji dan syukur kita panjatkan pada Allah Subhanahu wa taala karena telah memberikan nikmat dan karunia pada hari ini sudah berkumpul di tempat yang sangat sempurna dan juga yang hadir secara online melalui jaringan dari ISKI. Serta salawat dan salam semoga selalu dilimpahkan pada Nabi besar Muhammad SAW. Bapak Ibu sekalian yang saya hormati, tema Beyond Digital Communication, Opportunities and Challenge of Humanities ini adalah sebuah tema besar yang diangkat oleh ISKI dalam KNK saat ini, di mana kita mengetahui bahwa komunikasi digital telah menjadi bagian dari kehidupan manusia saat ini. Interkonektivitas, kecepatan dan volume yang semakin besar menandai transformasi dan komunikasi sebelumnya ke arah komunikasi yang berbasis digital. Bahkan hambatan batas-batas negara dan batas-batas wilayah, bahkan mungkin batas-batas waktu, seperti yang barusan Mas Bimo sampaikan pada saya, katanya nonton bola nanti jam 5 ya, Mas Bimo, Piala Dunia, itu tidak menjadi lagi barrier untuk kita ke depan. Ini laporan Unstad tahun 2019. Bapak Ibu yang saya hormati, kondisi seperti ini memang di satu sisi telah meningkatkan daya dukung atau bahkan daya ungkit aktivitas ekonomi dan industri, baik industri untuk media dan teknologi digital yang memberikan keuntungan besar kepada kita semua. Dan telah membuka inovasi dan berbagai kreativitas yang tadi juga di brainwash kami tadi pagi oleh Mas Roni, Pak Roni, Prof Roni, bahwa nanti akan muncul prof baru yang mengalahkan literasi di tahun-tahun sebelumnya. Bahkan jadi manusia-manusia begitu ya Pak Roni ya. Dan kita akan mendapat kesenjangan yang luar biasa. Terlihat cepat, dialah yang menangkan kompetisi. Begitu percakapan tadi pagi. Karena ISKI pada saat ini mengangkat tema itu buat tema yang penting. Di mana kita mudah-mudahan paper disajikan menawar jalan telaah, riset macamnya, termasuk solusi ke depan seperti apa untuk membangun manusia komunikasi dan juga mungkin orang sangat dengan dunia komunikasi teknologi informasi. Alhamdulillah pada konferensi kali ini yang diberi judul CIC KNK 2022 dengan tema Beyond Digital Communication, Opportunities and Challenge for Humanities, ISKI telah memberikan peluang kepada semua pihak untuk menyajikan naskah monograf ataupun mungkin publikasi ilmiah seperti yang terbiasa dalam lingkungan akademik untuk dipresentasikan dalam KNK ISKI tahun 2022. Alhamdulillah pada penutupan 4 November 2002 kemarin tercatat sebanyak 140 paper sudah masuk ke timnya Ibu Imelda, terima kasih, dan Bu Puji, kemudian Bu Endah, Bu Eni, Prof Rajab, Prof Rajab, kadang-kadang suka lupa ya jadi profesor begitu Pak. Prof Rajab, alhamdulillah 140 paper masuk ke kita dan sudah terregistrasi semuanya, insya Allah akan disajikan pada satu hari ini. Di mana dalam perhitungan kami 63 paper akan disajikan secara on-site dan 77 paper akan disajikan secara online. Mudah-mudahan Mbak Frida tidak kerepotan ya Mbak Frida, ini ketua lokal, terima kasih, dan kawan-kawan panitia lokal yang sudah bekerja dengan keras. Aplaus Bapak Ibu. Sampai kami tidak mengenal waktu, rapat sampai jam 11 malam ya Bu. Oleh karena itu Bapak Ibu sekalian, ISKI mudah-mudahan menjadi wadah yang kompeten untuk menelurkan atau melahirkan gagasan-gagasan tersebut. Insya Allah KNK ini akan berlangsung 2 hari, pada tanggal 7 yang akan diisi dengan panel-panel ilmiah, dan pada tanggal 8 kita akan menyimak paparan dari Gubernur Jawa Timur Ibu Khofifah Indar Parawansa yang tadinya seharusnya hari ini, tetapi karena beliau berhalangan hadir karena acara agenda G20 di Bali sehingga digeser pada tanggal 8. Mudah-mudahan kita semua bisa hadir besok. Pak Roni mudah-mudahan masih di sini ya. Mudah-mudahan kalau Mas Bimo barusan sudah mau pulang ke Jakarta katanya, kesibukan beliau. Mudah-mudahan kita besok bisa ketemu di Gedung Gerahadi ya, Bu Pida kalau tidak salah, Mbak Pebi. Betul ya, Gedung Gerahadi ya. Dan kita akan berkumpul serta melakukan city tour di Surabaya dan nanti akan dipandu oleh Mas Catur keliling Jawa Timur ya. Demikian sambutan saya Bapak Ibu sekalian, sekaligus juga pelaporan kepada Pak Ketua. Mudah-mudahan acara KNK CIC INKI 2022 berjalan dengan lancar. Aplaus untuk Bapak Ibu semuanya. Terima kasih. Billahi taufiq wal hidayah wa fisabilil haq. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Prof. Atwar, for the report. And ladies and gentlemen, it is our pleasure to invite Chairman of Indonesia Communication Scholar Associations, Dr. Rahmat Hidayat, SOS SHMSI, to deliver his speech.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. The Honorable Directorate and General IKP, represent of Ministry of Information and Communication, Bapak Usman Kansong. Bapak Usman Kansong, he's still Zoom meeting with the Marinvest Ministry. So, the Honorable, the Advisory Board of ISKI, ada Pak Roni, tadi saya lihat ada Pak Harmonis, siapa lagi ya? Ya, oke. The Honorable Chair of ISKI wilayah se-Indonesia, the Honorable of Chair of ISKI Jatim, Prof. Rahmaida, the Honorable the Committee, Pak Atwar dan kawan-kawan, participant of KNK and CIC ISKI. So, distinguished speaker, Professor Rahmaida, Christina Schumann from Ilmenau, and Dr. Azzalansah from the University of Malaysia. Thank to God that we attend and gathered in this conference at the KNK 2022 and CIC. This is the fourth CIC, the first international conference held at the Banda Aceh, yeah, Bu Eni as a chair, and then in Bandung, Jakarta, and this is the fourth the international conference. This conference we still in the COVID-19 condition. So this is a conference held with hybrid. So Pak Atwar said that there are 140 papers. This is biggest participant, yeah. So this conference held the next years we will have the political years, and so also we now this is the disruption condition, and also the COVID-19, they are still in around us, so maybe we have to still be careful with this. This conference very hard for us to still have in these years, but with the spirit from the colleague, from the committee, Pak Atwar, and so our colleagues from the East Java ISKI, applause for the committee, and I think also thanks to the Ibu Khofifah, the governor, this is Java governor. So thank you to the Ministry of the Investment. Thank you to the Telkomsel as a sponsor, and also the ISKI Jatim. Saya berharap konferensi hari ini adalah konferensi yang mudah-mudahan menjadi pemanasan kita. Nanti insya Allah akan kita laksanakan konferensi berikutnya pengennya di daerah timur. Ya, kenapa? Karena kita juga akan melaksanakan deklarasi komunikasi kebangsaan yang sudah dimulai di Aceh ya tahun 2019. Kita mendeklarasikan harapan bagaimana komunikasi di Indonesia ini adalah komunikasi yang mampu bangsa ini. Harusnya tidak bangsa ini saja, tapi juga jadi tadi menyatukan seluruh dunia dalam kebaikan. Dan dimulai di kilometer 0 ya di Aceh pada tahun 2019. Hari ini Indonesia bagian tengah, anggaplah tengah ya, barat itu barat juga, tapi anggaplah ini tengah, dan insya Allah tahun depan kalau tidak di timur sekaligus kita lihat nanti tahun depan begitu ya. Dan deklarasi kebangsaan ini deklarasi dengan harapan kita mampu menjadi bagian dari solusi. Gitu ya Mas Anang ya. Bagian dari solusi, bukan dari bagian dari masalah. Bukan problem, harusnya problem solver ya, bukan trouble maker. Nah, itu harapan kita. Sekali lagi terima kasih atas partisipasi semua teman. Saya tahu panitia begitu cukup solid. Ini saya katakan insya Allah alhamdulillah ya, mulai dari Aceh, di Bandung, kemudian di Jakarta, dan hari ini insya Allah ISKI tetap solid. Begitu ya. Ya terima kasih juga atas kehadiran teman-teman undangan yang hadir di sini, dari beberapa asosiasi juga yang hadir. Sebenarnya asosiasi komunikasi itu 4L Mas Bimo. 4L, lu lagi gitu ya. Dari Perhumas, Aspikom, konsorsium, dan lain-lain itu juga orangnya itu juga lah begitu ya. Jadi itu saja. Dan Pak Dirjen sudah masuk belum ya? Sudah ada belum? Kalau sudah masuk terima kasih. Nanti Pak Dirjen akan menyampaikan speech-nya mewakili Pak Menteri. Kalau misalnya belum sempat masuk karena masih ada pertemuan dengan Pak Luhut membahas tentang G20 ya, ini kan lagi masa-masa G20, mungkin nanti akan diburu oleh plenary season. Barangkali itu saja dari saya, terima kasih atas perhatiannya. Billahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam komunikasi, harmoni. Sekali lagi ya, salam komunikasi, harmoni.
Thank you, Bapak Dadang, for the speech and also for the welcoming remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, before we are continuing to the next sessions, we would like to invite all the guests and participants to have coffee break first for about 10 minutes. The coffee break is provided in front of this room, and we are expected that all the guests and also the participant would be here again in 10 minutes. Thank you. like to invite you to have photo session. Thank you. segera mengikuti acara. Once again, we would like to invite all the participants to proceed to the ballroom as we will begin the panel discussion. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome again to the ballroom of Swiss-Belinn, Surabaya. Ladies and gentlemen, now we proceed to panel discussion. Before, I would like to briefly introduce the dearest moderator. Our moderator for this discussion panel is Aulia Rahmawati, and Aulia Rahmawati obtained her bachelor and master degree in communication science, Universitas Airlangga, Indonesia. She then undertook her doctoral degree by research in Cardiff University, United Kingdom in journalism, media and cultural studies. She is currently serving as the head of International Accreditation Center in UPN Veteran Jawa Timur, while also teaching full-time in Communication Science Department. She is also the director and co-founder of Institute of Cultural and Creative Industries, ISKI in UPN Veteran Jawa Timur. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for Aulia Rahmawati, PhD.
Thank you very much, Miss Shiva. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. I hope you have a very good night's sleep. And for those of you who join us via Zoom video conference, I greet you and again welcome. Enjoy the rest of the conference. And also for participants who just arrived in Surabaya, again, welcome to Surabaya. I hope the weather is nice today. So there's a bit slightly change on the rundown of the conference. We will begin the panel discussion right now, and perhaps if there's more information from the Ministry of Information and Communication, we will proceed after these discussions panels. So in these sessions, we will be joined by 3 distinguished communication scholars from Indonesia, Malaysia, and all the way very far away from Germany today. From Indonesia, we have our beloved Professor Dr. Rahma Ida. Would you like to join me on stage, please? Thank you very much. So I won't be alone today on stage. Good morning, Professor Ida. And also from Germany, Dr. Christina Schumann. Is Dr. Schumann already joined us in Zoom conference? Not yet, still in the breakout room, okay. We will have, I will briefly explain the way this panel discussions will be organized. So each of these 3 distinguished speakers will have 20 minutes for their presentations, and we will directly proceed to Q&A sessions, perhaps 5 to 10 minutes. First, we will go with Dr. Christina Schumann. She is still in the breakout room. And the second will be Dr. Azlan Shah from University of Malaya, Malaysia will follow. And the last but not least, we will have Professor Rahma Ida here, will be closing the panel discussions with her presentations, as well as proceeding with the Q&A sessions. Okay, can I have the confirmation, please? Does Dr. Christina Schumann already with us in the Zoom video conference? Or Dr. Azlan Shah?
Yes, good morning. This is Christina Schumann. Hello, I am already here. Can you hear me?
One of the committee organizer, please confirm, does Dr. Christina already been in the Zoom video conference? She's here, okay. Can we see, can we broadcast it in the screen, please? Apologies, ladies and gentlemen, because this is still very early morning in Germany. Very early
So
morning.
I don't know if,
Yes.
if you can hear me. I can hear you pretty
Okay.
well.
Okay. Hello, Dr. Christina Schumann. Good morning.
Hello,
sorry.
good morning. Good morning. So nice to see you.
Very good to see you. How are you? This is
Thank you,
still
I'm
very
fine.
early. Yes, we understand that this is very early morning in Germany. Apologies.
Yes, it's 4 o'clock.
Apologies for interrupting your good night's sleep.
That's fine. I'm very happy to be here.
Yes, I will. You can take a nap later on the day. Okay, so Dr. Christina Schumann will go first. I will briefly read her CV. Dr. Christina Schumann is from Technics Universität Ilmenau, Germany. I hope I pronounce the university correctly. Dr. Schumann is a senior researcher and lecturer at TU Ilmenau, Germany. She obtained her PhD with a thesis on user-centered game design and quality of video games. Her research foci are political communications, environmental communication, and digital communication, with a special focus on the issues of media, social media, and technology fatigue. And her presentation today entitled Information Avoidance, a Problem of Modern Societies in Digital Era. So Dr. Schumann, you will have 20 minutes for presentations, and we will proceed with Q&A sessions. Dr. Schumann,
Okay.
are you ready? Whenever
Thank
you're
you
ready,
very much.
we're ready, okay? Thank you, the
Okay.
time is yours. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. I will share my screen and hopefully it will work. Just 1 second. So I hope you can see my screen now. And a very warm welcome to this presentation on information avoidance. And thank you very much for this invitation. It's really a great honor here to speak at the conference. So this is the agenda I brought for today. I will talk about why information avoidance is a phenomenon in the digital era. I will also give you a short definition and the relevance of information avoidance, but my main focus today will be on a project we were doing together with some of your colleagues. And the project is called International Perspective on Information Avoidance during the Coronavirus Pandemic. And today I will bring some insights from Indonesia and Germany. So to start with, about information avoidance as phenomenon of the digital era, I think I don't tell you a secret if I'm saying the world is digital. And this being digital also means that countless information is just a click away from everybody. So whatever we want to know about what is going on in the world or close by, or we want to get information about whatever topic we want, we just need one click. My focus today will be about the role of this omnipresence of information and its role in news consumption. And if we look at the existing body of research, we get a very bright picture. So the majority of research is saying, because we are having so much information available and it's so easily accessible, this is a great opportunity in news consumption, in political communication, because this information keeps citizens informed, it triggers civic participation, it can mobilize the masses and empower people. However, at the other side, we also can see some more, let's say, skeptic or negative views on that omnipresence of information, because we could see for several years now, living in the digital era, that more information does not automatically lead to informed citizens. And that this omnipresence of information, so being entirely surrounded by information, can also has negative individual or impacts on the individuals with negative experiences, such as feeling overloaded and feeling distressed. And the latter, these negative experiences, can particularly occur in so-called news waves, when all of a sudden a certain topic enters the news agenda and might dominate the entire news landscape. As well as these negative impacts on the individual might also occur in crisis or any other long-lasting issues that are on the agenda. So, for example, currently in Germany, there is a lot of coverage of the war between Russia and the Ukraine. And if we take this all together, so these negative individual experiences, particularly during those news waves, we have a breeding ground for information avoidance. So what is this avoidance about? We could define it as a deliberate shunning or delaying acquisition of available information. So despite this accessibility and availability of information, the people consciously tune out of the stream of news we're having on certain issues. And this is not only dichotomous, so yes or no, but it might have different intensity levels. So people might reduce attention, they might entirely tune out, and they might even convince other people also to do the same thing. It's quite obvious that this is problematic, because informed citizens, if you look at any democratic theory you want to look at, the base is always an informed citizenry that keeps itself informed about what is going on in the world. And these informed citizens are particularly essential in curbing with certain crisis situations. And coming from this, I already would like to give you an insight into a project I could do together with my colleagues from Indonesia, but as well as Pakistan. These are Mira Rohaidi Reitz, Eni Mariani, Ana Agostina, and Wakas Iyas. And our project was called International Perspectives on Information Avoidance During the Coronavirus Pandemic. So what did we scrutinize here in that project? Basically, we started that whole project during the coronavirus pandemic. And as I put it before, particularly in those crisis situations, we need informed citizens, and in this case also worldwide citizens that keep themselves informed about what is going on, measures to curb with those. So it's successful or needed these informed citizenries. However, as I put at the very beginning, the high dominance of Corona news, particularly here in Germany, we really had all of a sudden all other news were gone, but it was Corona only, and this might trigger information avoidance. So our research interest here in that international research team was to scrutinize information avoidance during the Corona crisis in an international comparative perspective. So we took in our team, when we started working on that project, the Corona crisis, because we saw that there is on the one hand side a need to do study about it, but also a international comparative research, because due to the global affectedness of the whole world of this pandemic, this makes Corona, despite all the grief and brought to the world, and makes Corona a comparable problem, which is needed for international comparative research. Very often we face the problem that topics for research are not comparable. For example, if we were to make a international comparative research on palm oil industry, the coverage in the news, this won't fit because we don't have that here in Germany, for example. And this global affectedness also opened up for us the possibility to contribute to the so-called de-Westernization of communication science. So we're facing the problem that a lot of the body of research is so much global north and particularly US centered. And we saw here really an opportunity to work together to contribute to that demanded de-Westernization. We saw on the one hand side a necessity, but also a possibility of international comparative research. And we compared 3 countries, Germany, Indonesia, and Pakistan. And for this conference today, I will focus exclusively on Germany and Indonesia, with which we compared very asymmetrical countries. So the countries differ in terms of the level of democracy, of the media system and trust in the media system, which all influences information avoidance. And you will see that we also had some assumptions about how press freedom might influence information avoidance. We will present that later. We also could, with comparing asymmetrical countries, contribute to the so-called communication so white debate that's similar to the call for de-Westernization. So we saw a possibility to bring more countries into the into the scientific discourse, and our research team was looking inward to these countries. We all came from these countries, so it makes it much easier for us to interpret the data we got, to set up our hypothesis, to also conduct or get our data. So what are our research questions? This is a takeout. We had many more, but due to time constraints, I won't touch these all. But here for today, I brought 3. So for us, our first research question was, how prevalent is this information avoidance in Indonesia and Germany during the Corona crisis? And what differences do exist between the 2 countries? Our research question 2 was, by what media do Indonesians and Germans inform themselves in the pandemic? Again, in comparative perspective. And our research question 3, how is media use related to information avoidance and what differences do exist between the countries? So we wanted to know whether the sources people get their information from might have a positive or negative association with information avoidance. Methodologically, and here I definitely learned so much about international comparative research, we worked with a quantitative online survey in both countries, cooperating with a online access panel. Both studies are now a several wave panel study. In Germany, we now have 8. In Indonesia, we have 2. And both samples are representative for the online users of each country. So we had, due to a screwed sample, to weight our data according to age, and you can see here the gender distribution and the age distribution, and particularly here for the age, we can see that the German population is a little bit older than the Indonesian ones, which is also reflected here in our data. So let's come to the results. And when I was preparing this session here, my colleague Mira told me, because she knows me, and she said, well, Christina, I know that you like to put a lot of numbers in your presentation, but that's not so common for this conference. So please don't do that or don't overcharge your presentation with numbers. So this is what I did out of it. So for the first research question, how prevalent is information avoidance in Indonesia and Germany during the corona crisis, and what differences do exist? We compared the mean values of a scale from 1 to 5, in which we ask, I increasingly avoid information about corona. Do you agree or totally disagree? And what we found finally is that information avoidance was higher in Germany when compared to Indonesia. And for us as a researcher team, this was very astonishing, because what the literature tells us is that information avoidance usually is higher in countries with less press freedom. And when we look at the press freedom index, that Germany scores higher here, we thought that information avoidance would eventually be higher in Indonesia, but it was the other way around. Secondly, we were asking
I am as the representative of ISKI, East Java chapter, would like also to welcome you in this city. So unfortunately, we do not have enough time to enjoy the what so-called culinary of East Java of Surabaya. So I promised to Mbak Enda, but Mbak Enda has to present her paper for this afternoon. I said, would you like to have sate klopo? Sate klopo is the satay with with klopo. With klopo, shredded coconuts. So because I think the satay will be closed in the afternoon, but hopefully it will be still open. So yes, thank you very much for the committee to invite me for this presenter for the last speaker this morning. So I have the title in my presentation today about the Beyond Digital Communications, Opportunities and Challenges to the Society and Cultures. And I want to bring together the two speakers actually in these presentations, and just want to give the general perspective about the rise of what so-called internet cultures in Indonesia, and then how the practices among the society have transformed our digital cultures, and also how the cultures of communications itself has been shifted by the popularity of the digital media and the internet cultures. So I start these presentations by quoting the statement from Richard Kahn and Douglas Kellner's about the meaningful of the internet. So they said that to a meaningful extent, the new informations and communications technologies are revolutionary. They do constitute revolutions of everyday life being presently enacted by internet subcultures. Yet it has often been revolutions that also promotes and disseminates the capitalist consumer society, individuals, and consumption and competitions, and that has involved new modes of fetishisms, enslavements, and dominations yet to be clearly perceived and theorized. So what these citations, I mean, what is this statement means to my presentations today is, I just want to take the arguments of Kant's and Kellner's to see that is actually when the technology, when the digital technology becomes our everyday lives in this digitalized era. So it's actually because of the creativity, because of the productions of the so-called subcultures. And then so later on in these presentations, I will show to you all about what kinds of subcultures that has been emerged in Indonesia, and then how it becomes, it has shifted our notions and our understandings about the so-called public space. So in these introductions, I would like to raise the issue of what is public cultures of the internet. And then later on, I will explain about the some practices to exemplify the rise of subculture of internet and the virtual public spheres, from the dark trenches, shiny memes that we have already every day in our WhatsApp groups, and then malicious trolls, and also a heartwarming ability to connect people across cultures, oceans, and ideological divides. So the questions here is how the internet technology platforms have changed the way we communicate today, and how have the society and the culture of communications transformed, and what reflections that we could have gained to thus far. So what are the opportunities and what are the challenges that we face today? To begin with, I would like also to use the definitions about what so-called the public cultures of the internet. So the internet has spawned a new culture with ideas, mores, and modes of communications unique to itself, but it is far from perfect. Only time will tell whether or not the internet will bring us closer together through communications. So online culture mirrors real society. The human beings that make up the internet behave like human beings. But through a new virtual medium, the internet culture will continue to evolve, mutate, and change of technology, and change as technology as society does. Here, I would like also to cite what Howard Reingold points out, that the greatest technological innovations come not from the orthodoxy of the computer industry, but from the fringe and subcultures of society. So computer network enthusiasts who expanded and helped design the internet as we know it today. So did so not far for commercial reasons, but because of their personal desires to venture into the worlds of virtual possibilities. So Reingold is also state that before looking into the various aspects of internet cultures, it is important for us to define what characteristics make up a cultures. So cultures, according to Reinhold, is a shared organizations of ideas that includes intellectual, morals, and aesthetic standard. Indeed, the internet contains all of these characteristics and has its own unique set of standards and mores, which in many cases mirror to society outside of cyberspace. So according to these definitions, then we can see how actually our lives' daily activities are transferred to the online arena, the natures of concepts such as nationhood, governments, governance, and political activisms are being gradually transformed. So cyberspace has become an arena in which people can directly partake in the building of virtual communities and the political activism that such community facilitate. So virtual reality functions as an empowering and enabling space for individual. So for example, cyberspace allow young people to exercise the type of citizenship right that are typically denied to them in the real world until they reach the legally deemed age of adulthood. So we know recently in Indonesia that so many youth people, because youth people are marginalized, not in Indonesia only, but in a global world. But they are the subcultures who not only, sitting behind the computers, but they're also creatively producing various and alternative messages to us. And then because of the age that legally prohibited them to become the citizenship before they reach 17 years old in Indonesia or 18-year-old in other Western countries. So the participations of the young peoples in the arena of political space, for example, has been limited. Here again, I will try to use, can you, next please, next slide. Yes, I would like to use this perspective on the contemporary technology discourse. So this perspective is introduced by Fisher in 2010. Fisher said that contemporary technology discourse at one and at the same time promises more personal empowerment through network technology and legitimates a more privatized, flexible, and precarious economic constellations. So such discourse signals a new trade-off in the political culture of capitalisms. So from a legitimation discourse, which emphasized the capacity of technology and technique to bring about social emancipations, through equality, stability, and security to legitimation discourse, which focuses on the capacity of technology to bring about individual emancipations. So through individual empowerment, authenticity, creativity, and cooperations. Contrary to the prevailing assumptions that see network technology as liberating from the rigidity and pitfalls of a shifting for these capitalisms. So using this theoretical perspective on the contemporary technology, then I would like to show how the practices of the young peoples and also the internet technology, and then how they occupy the public spaces and the virtual spaces. And then so it comes to us, and then at the end, how we define actually who owns the public spaces and who part of the public spaces itself. So how the citizen of public spaces. I would like to show two videos on the advertising. So this is the advertising is not in Indonesia, but we can look these advertisings from YouTube. So the advertising has been distributed in Australia. So it's about Google advertising. So can I have this? Yeah, sure. No sound? No sound? Gak ada suara?
Kaguri. Ada bicara beli ngutan. Do what you gotta do, it's up to you. Yo ya pa. Kaguri. Ada bicara beli ngutan aku nih. Yo, kau dah datang meet, nggak datang crew.
To break through, come on. Yeah.
Yo, think lean ready. Okay.
And the second one? Yang kedua? Ya.
It goes lights, camera, action when I step into the limelight. Easily adapted to the high life. That's good food and drinks. My mood makes you think that this life's made for a king. So many different things to do than the high life.
Okay, terima kasih. So thank you. So these advertisings about Google's helping you by others, membantu kita in bahasa ya, membantu kita dari orang lain. So this advertising actually would like to take the attentions of the audience about Google's make your life easier. So if you want to help someone to find the meat, if you would like to help someone to find the sambal, if you we would like to help someone to become the celebrity, it's very easy. You just Googling it, you can find everywhere near you. Artinya apa? So what is the meaning of that advertisings for us? That in the times, like in the era of digital lives, networks can be built not because of we know each other, but because that we are in the connections. So the connected society, which by what's so-called Castell, talking about that the network society has been formed because of the digital technology, and then with Google's show us the how easy that we can help others by using our mobile phones. That this is signify that life is actually very, very everyday life, very easy for us, very simple. And then so I move on to see that the visual cultures in our life. We are living in everyday life, in urban society. We see how popular cultures has become part of our urban lives. But nowadays, do we still have thinking about the virtual, the real space in our city? About, oh, this is pop culture actually. So this is the cultures that we want to watch. This is the cultures that we want to, enjoy that. But since the comings of social media in this room, we are all quiet because we are all busy with our social media. So do we care about this space? So please, next. So the rise of internet subcultures has become the mainstream in our daily life. So subcultures associated with the internet are involved in the revolutionary circulations and democratizations of informations and cultures. So in as much as this material, it is also part of the media process by which people come to identify and define themselves. The emergent mediated post-subcultures are also involved in the attempt to allow people the freedom to redefine and construct themselves around the kind of alternative cultures, cultural forms, experiences, and practices which radical deployment of the internet affords. So I take this, the concept of internet subcultures. We can then read Troyer, Whiteford Troyers, and Best and Kellner's 2001, how they try to define that. So next. So we see how this, the rise of internet subcultures in Indonesia has become the discourse in our media students, in our communication students. They are talking about TikToks, they are talking about participatory cultures, we are talking about boys' law, which is previously all this issue never been heard to us. So let's say, for examples, the popularity of TikToks, then the coming of the concept micro-celebrity. Yeah, we know that what is micro-celebrity is now become popular. So TikTok tried to deconstructing the notions of celebrities and challenge the monopoly, control of the entertainment industry. So devoted audience who take a personal interest in their activities. So many like the TikTok cultures has has changed the way the audience consuming the popular cultures in our countries. The second one is the next please. The second one is the new notions of Insta fame. It also has particular characteristic that set them apart from the mainstream. So the celebrity and audiences engage in the interactive dialogue on social media, which before or in the earlier time, we never try to build our connectivity between the celebrity that we, enthuse them, that we favorite them, to our, our private lives. So we put the celebrity just in our palm hand. And then the other ones is also the concept of gurus, the concept of teachers, the concept of, educators. So we do not need the people who are formally attain the professional job as teachers. But the guru is everywhere. We have online tutorials. And then during the pandemic, all these the cyber features has become commonplace to us. And then next to the other ones, we are also, part of these cultures, the meme, everyday humors, rumors, and so forth that we got from our social media. Next, please. The new mode of come out. So what? Next, please. Next slide, please. Next slide. Mas, berikutnya. Yeah. So just like Azahlan mentions in Malaysia, when the Malay government stated that Malaysia is a Muslims majority country, and they also declare as the Islamic countries, they try to control all the content of social media. But then when we are coming into such a globalized networks, so the control becomes very difficult. So this is also happened to us in Indonesia, a new mode of come out, sexuality issue, the resistance. So become the paradox in our everyday lives. So social media in Reformasi Indonesia influence morality debates in Indonesia by both opening and foreclosing opportunities for tolerance around genders and sexualities. And next. Yeah, so the online culture and public culture. So what is the difference between these two? In a very real sense, the online culture mirrors our real society. And despite new terms and etiquette mores, human behavior does not change. The human being that make up the internet culture behave like humans usually do. They fall in love, participate in role-playing games. So for example, just like when we are playing in MUTS games, arguing and bicker, give and receive, advice, and do many others everyday things. But they do all of these things through a new virtual mediums. So internet subculture then seeks a certain immediacy of experience that strives to circumvent dominance codes in the attempts to access a wealth of global information quickly and directly, and then to appropriate and disseminate material further. So we know nowadays, please next, nowadays the notions of participatory cultures, where the young people who particularly they are the fandom of Korean pops, they would like to come together in one mediums or in one virtual space such as Twitter's, and then they try to they try to make it what they want to do with their fandoms. So next, the internet public space such as blogging and democracy, and the new concept of democracy has been introduced to us, which previously we have to come together in a place, or we come together in a particular space or arena, but nowadays we can use our blogs or we can use our social media as the public space as well. Next, please. Public space, politics, and pop cultures. If previously we see like this in our national elections, when Joko Widodo and others participated as the governor of Jakarta, we see that how street cultures becomes the nuance, the party of political cultures in Indonesia. But nowadays, the political cultures becomes popular on our internet, on our WhatsApp, in our Facebooks, and so forth. So they play the different kind of what so-called democracy. So this is our new concept of democracy. Also, next please. Particularly in previous states, we see that how public space has been used as political activities. Yeah, this is like how demonstrations, people occupy our road, our street as the arena for expressing their interest on the political affairs in our country. But nowadays we see, next please, how internet and political activisms has moved from the street to the social media activisms. And then again, next please, the militant internet cultures just arrived in our life as well. So we have been talking a lot about this guy. We don't know whether it is the girl or the male, Bjorka. Yeah. So these militant internet cultures now is part of our political activisms in these countries. So next slide, last conclusions. So the development of internet technology has promoted the new model of the so-called public and cultures. Internet technology provide new public space and alternative for individual in the context of contemporary democracy and discourse. Public spaces have been occupied and controlled by popular culture and transnational capitalisms. At the same time, internet has opened up opportunities and new challenges for identity politics, youth subcultures, and new cultural mode of communications. Yet there have been paradoxes in the virtual public space in where individual freedoms and public democracy continue being contested. So the internet is a contested terrain used by both dominant cultures and subcultures to promote their own agendas and interests. The political battles of the futures may well be fought in the street, factories, parliaments, and other sites of past struggle. But politics is already mediated by broadcast, computers, and information technologies, and will increasingly be so in the futures. And then subculture activism has thus materialized as a vital new space of politics and cultures in which a wide diversity of individuals and groups have used emergent technologies to help produce new subcultures, social relations, and form of politics. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Prof. Ida. A very quick Q&A sessions, only for 2 participants. Please raise your hand. Yes, one, Ibu Mona.
Supaya dapat hadiah. Okay. Thank you very much, Prof. Ramaida. I enjoy your presentation regarding beyond cultural, digital communication opportunities and challenges on the social and culture. I would like to ask you regarding 2 questions. First is to promote what advantages about subculture that has been created, atau what opportunities or empowerment we can get due to the rise of the digital communication. Okay, that's the first, because I want we go further on the advantages. And the second, regarding ISKI, what ISKI people can do to uplift the quality or the welfare of the people, especially due to the rise of new healthy culture. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Bu Mona. It's a burning questions for us here, especially the second questions. So it should be not me to answer only, but I think the whole audiences here should answer what Bu Mona already raised the issue. I was also wondering when last night I was like, or last week I was preparing these presentations, I was thinking, this is ISKI, this is not other, other academics conference. Then I have to bring about something that is, related or connected to ISKI, but later on. I will answer the first ones. So the advantages. I said before that the subcultures consist, actually I cannot say this because I do not have the data already, but predominantly, I said like this, so predominantly they are created by young people. Yeah, they are created by young people. So we know that young people, because they do not have, the space more in a real life, because we see that young people, if they do not reach, let's say 17 years old in Indonesia or 18 years old. So the governments and also all the formals official, we said that you cannot be, acknowledged as the citizens of Indonesia. So because you are under the, guidance of your parents and so forth and the adults. And so I see that young people see that, there is no opportunity if I want to participate in the real space, in the real public space. So they see that social media or internet or digital media has become a space for them to express, to to give them the open space without the control of the governments. Yeah. Now we have Undang-Undang ITE, which is very controversial to us. But before then, the young people see that this is, I can come out about my identity, about my, my interests and so forth, my ideology and anything with the internet. And then, so the advantage of that, the cultures that we are now become popular, or the culture that we are now become common to us, is actually created by the young peoples. But we do not recognize young people as the mainstreams in our cultures, in our citizenship life. Because we see that this is the adult, this is the adult, this is the adult, but we never see how the young people behind the cultural productions is actually the active producers of the cultures that we are now get used with the cultures. So the advantage for us is we know already that the young people in Indonesia, in our country, should have, been placed in the center rather than the peripherals. Or we should place the young people's, comes to the fore, rather than we hide them behind the screen of the digital internet culture or internet technology. So that's we think about the advantages. The second one, the second questions that we raise here, how ISKI Ikatan, because we say Ikatan Sarjana Komunikasi Indonesia. So we are already the graduates, we are already the scholars of the communications of Indonesia. So what should we do with the plethora of cultures, the subcultures on our internet? Actually, against, in my perspective, that young people should become our targets. We are in ISKI maybe to place ourselves as the guidance, as the guide, as the as the motors for the young peoples, in order to give them more space for them to express their their interests, whether it is a political interest, whether it is yeah, just what they say about their country. Let's say, for instance, in Jakarta recently, those people who living in Jakarta know the what's that, the new one? Citayam, yeah, Citayam Fashion Weeks. So everyone's just like, it's very controversial when celebrity would like to take out the public space. The government would also like to participate in such public space. And then, yeah, politicians also. So everyone would like to, to occupy the public space. Before, the public space is just the road, it's just the road. It's just the crossing line. But when the street children from Citayam came to Jakarta, and then they tried to give the meaning of the street, the empty street, or just the street that we saw every day as the common street, become something different. And then so we see all the interest coming into that space. So that's what I means, how then ISKI could, becomes the guide. I don't know how this to translate. Maybe Pak Dadang and then pengurus in ISKI Pusat and ISKI Daerah, yeah, we can train the young peoples, yeah, menjadi what so-called digital planners, let's say, for instance, because they are good in using the gadgets. Then also we try to facilitate them. Maybe they become also the participants of global cultures, global young cultures, and everything, and then so forth. In terms of how then ISKI try to contribute to, let's say, academic spheres, maybe many research or many other papers, whatever presentations in in such a conference like this could bring the cultures of young people into the academics arena of this conference, let's say, for instance, because I'm sorry, when I read the papers with Aulia, for instance, I saw like dalam bahasa Indonesia, I want something which is different, ya, sesuatu yang different, tidak lagi berputar pada arena adult gitu. Saya melihat paper-paper itu belum mengangkat tentang bagaimana anak muda di Indonesia, misalnya keberhasilan anak muda. Contohnya misalnya mahasiswa kita sendiri, so our students, they are all young people gitu. But if we do not trigger them, if we do not encourage them to say something about their own young people's life. Jadi saya pikir mahasiswa kita adalah anak muda. Jadi mahasiswa kita itu juga harus bicara tentang anak muda gitu. Makanya misalnya contoh, for example, contohnya yang saya lakukan untuk skripsi mahasiswa saya anak muda, saya selalu bilang, kenapa kamu mencari suatu topik yang sangat sulit gitu? Kamu cari topik tentang kamu. Saya bilang, kamu pakai celana jeans yang kotak yang bolong-bolong gitu. So what is the cultures of jeans bolong-bolong itu? Lalu dia berpikir, Prof, saya itu bergabung dengan hypebeast culture. So what is hypebeast? Tell me about hypebeast. Buatlah itu dalam sebuah riset. Dia buat riset hypebeast cultures. Dan itu sangat bagus banget gitu. Sangat bagus banget. Itu kita dapat A. Lalu ada yang lain, kamu bicara tentang apa? Saya suka ngopi, nongkrong kopi. So say something about coffee shop and the young people. Lalu dia membuat, bahkan dia sempat membuat sebuah teori. Dia mengatakan bahwa this is the third wave coffee cultures in Indonesia. Bagaimana kamu bisa bilang bahwa ini adalah gelombang ketiga budaya kopi di Indonesia? Itu dari hasil dia nongkrong di coffee shop. Yang dia lihat dengan visual cultures methodology, saya langsung kenalkan dia dengan ahlinya, dia sendiri yang berkomunikasi, dia menghasilkan itu. Jadi bagi saya itu wow gitu loh. So we should encourage these generations gitu. So they are not be treated as, you know, as the marginalized citizens in our country, but they have to be the mainstream to us. So that's the message actually. Bu Mona, thank you.
Thank you very much. Bu Mona could choose whichever book she wants. uh, uh, one more very quick question, sir. I'm sorry. one last questions from the gentleman over there.
Oh, I'm so scary. Pak Roni asking questions.
Pak Roni nanti di setelah sambil makan siang saja Pak Roni. Silahkan.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
I'm Ziki Marta from ISKI West Sumatra. I have a question from Ida. What do you think from Prof. Ida, this cultural phenomena on the internet today, and what are the positive solutions for Indonesia students? Thank you.
Thank you. Positive, what?
Positive solution.
Oh, positive solution for the Indonesian student today.
Oh, okay.
The internet and the positive.
Positive solutions for what? I don't know. I do not get
For
the
many problems
question.
that our youth generation has today.
Oh, the positive one. So there is the negative solution, there is the positive solution.
Because perhaps we often highlights the negative side of the internet.
Oh yeah, yeah. There are
This is
so
the
many
opposite.
negative sides of the internet, but the solutions, the solutions for our young generations, I do not thinking about the solutions. I think they are the solutions, ya. Seperti Mas Anang bilang, kita membuat solusi ya, Prof. Atwar ya, tidak membuat masalah gitu. So I think young people is already created their own solutions, ya, by making their own creations, making their own productions, ya, cultural productions in our internet every day. They see because, let's say for example, if we see our televisions, they got so many advertisements, and then the production costs very high, and then the distribution cost is also high. But then the young people just use their own social media, and then he put or she put herself photo on TikToks, on the Instagrams, on the Facebooks, and then so everyone comes to them and take them as as the new cultures. Even someone who just keeps silence for 2 hours, this is crazy. And you see the followers is just like millions, millions. Jadi orang itu hanya diam saja di depan kameranya 2 jam. Followersnya jutaan. So what happened with us? We thinking about that. So do we think that this is rubbish? Kita pikir bahwa ini sampah. But it's actually, this is productive. Ya, betul ya Pak Dadang? So ketika when YouTube send the money to him, and then we just like, oh wow, ya. Hanya diam saja, kita dapat uang miliaran rupiah gitu. So, is this rubbish? Apa yang apakah ini sampah betul yang kita pikirkan? So they are not rubbish actually. So the solution is already on them gitu. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. That's a wrap, ladies and gentlemen. I hope that all of 3 distinguished scholars will broaden our knowledge and sparks our interest for further avenue of our research. Special shout out and thanks for UPN Television. Please give a round of applause. They have been preparing, that's our students, we are very proud of them. They have been preparing all of the hybrid technology for today's conference. Thank you very much, Prof. Ida, Dr. Christina Schumans, and Dr. Azlan Shah. And after this, there will be a session for declaration of not independence, declaration of nationhood, led by Pak Dadang, Dr. Dadang. I will return the sessions to the Master of Ceremony. Good afternoon. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, thank you very much to our moderator, Aulia Rahmawati PhD, for excellently moderating these sessions. And I also would like to sincerely thanks to our dear speakers for sharing with us their knowledge and expertise. Once again, a very big applause. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to witness the declaration of Komunikasi Kebangsaan. Thus, we sincerely invite to the stage the chairman of ISKI, Bapak Dr. Dedang Rahmat Hidayat, the representative of ISKI Aceh, the representative of ISKI Jawa Timur, and also the representative of ISKI Sulawesi Utara to the stage. Kami juga mengundang barangkali ada perwakilan dari ISKI Sumatera Barat.
DKI. Pak Roni, ayo Pak Roni, ikut Pak Roni. Ini kuat gak? Kuat ya? Kuat ya? Ini dari barat sampai timur ada ya? Ini satu lagi, ini nanti ada 4 butir ya yang akan dibacakan oleh ISKI Aceh, ISKI Jatim, ISKI Sulut dan Pusat ya.
Ini bimbingan saya ini.
Masuk kok mana? Masuk kok sini lah, masuk kok.
Kalau macam-macam dihabisin.
Dari ISKI Pusat ada yang ikut? Bu Mona, Pak Atwar, Pak Raja, Pak Sekjen.
Dapat buku gak?
Dapat handphone.
Mohon nanti kalau pas kita bacakan semua teman-teman berdiri ya. Setuju ya?
We invite all the participants to rise setelah dibacakan.
Sedang pas dibacakan. Nah, sekarang.
Baik.
Ayo teman-teman berdiri semuanya ya.
Kami mohon
berdiri
Bapak
ya.
Ibu untuk berdiri.
Baik, nanti akan berurutan kami bacakan. Ini deklarasi yang kedua ya. Jadi deklarasi komunikasi kebangsaan ini yang pertama disampaikan di kilometer 0 di Pulau Sabang, Provinsi Aceh pada tanggal 14 November 2019. Jadi sekarang ada deklarasi yang kedua disampaikan tentu di Surabaya sebagai kota pahlawan.
10 November.
Ya, pada tanggal sekarang 7 November ya.
Lusa.
3 hari lagi ya. Tapi kemarin paradenya kan sudah ya.
Sudah.
Nah, paradenya. Pak Atwar nonton tuh. Baik, nanti sekali lagi kami akan deklarasikan ada 4 poin. Poin pertama akan dibacakan nanti oleh teman dari Aceh, yang kedua oleh Prof. Ida dari Jawa Timur, yang ketiga mewakili daerah Timur, Sulawesi Utara, dan yang terakhir nanti dari ISKI Pusat. Kita akan mulai ya. Ini terima kasih ini sudah hadir teman-teman dari seluruh Indonesia, juga teman-teman dari media. Baik, saya akan membacakan. Deklarasi Komunikasi Kebangsaan Indonesia. Ikatan Sarjana Komunikasi Indonesia atau ISKI dengan ini mendeklarasikan komunikasi kebangsaan Indonesia.
Bahwa kami insan komunikasi Indonesia menyadari kebebasan komunikasi harus dijunjung tinggi dan dihormati sebagai hak asasi manusia.
Bahwa kami insan komunikasi Indonesia menyadari untuk melaksanakan kebebasan komunikasi dengan penuh rasa tanggung jawab.
Bahwa kami insan komunikasi Indonesia menyadari untuk mendorong dinamika dan solidaritas sosial disertai dengan komunikasi yang berkualitas.
Bahwa kami insan komunikasi Indonesia menyatakan tekad untuk mewujudkan budaya komunikasi Indonesia yang baik dan bermartabat menuju Indonesia maju, sejahtera, berkeadilan, serta harmoni bersatu dalam keberagaman.
Baik, terima kasih. Itulah deklarasi kami. Kami akan akhiri dengan salam komunikasi, harmoni. Salam komunikasi, harmoni. Sekali lagi, salam komunikasi, harmoni. Terima kasih, aplaus buat kita semua. Terima kasih. Roni, terima kasih. Terima kasih. Terima kasih.
Terima kasih. Terima kasih. Selamat ya.
Baik, terima kasih Bapak Ibu dapat kembali ke tempat. And congratulations for ISKI for deklarasi komunikasi kebangsaan. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to sincerely thank everyone for their participation and attendance in today's session, and we will continue to parallel session after lunch break. Once again, thank you and enjoy your break. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Sebetulnya udah jadi.